Hignet's corner, beyond Bent. Janssen! And Blackburn Rovers are 18 minutes away from a Premiership return.
As far as Stewart, just outside the penalty area, clips it central for David Dunn. David Dunn equalises! It just had to be! Dack's corner and it goes, Glance towards goal! And Rovers have taken the lead! And Charlie Mulgrew has scored his 14th of the season. It may well be the goal that sends Rovers back into the Championship.
Good evening, Blackburn Rovers fans, and welcome to the new show we've got here on Rovers Chat, fronted by myself, Ollie Walker-Peel. It is breakfast with Rovers Chat, the first episode of a new breakfast Blackburn Rovers show that will be airing every Monday here on Rovers Chat from 8:30 a.m. UK time. Of course, as always, get your comments in. Would love to get some of your reactions to this and some of the stuff I've got to say, because we have got a lot to talk about. On the agenda, we've got the players coming back in training yesterday as they prepare for the 2021-2022 Sky Bet Championship season. The pre-season fixtures as we get some match action in preparation for league football. The fixture draw, we'll go back over that again, along with our Carabao Cup draw against Morecambe. We've got Britain Mania sweeping over the channel again as we look over some international football, including England's game tomorrow against Germany. And we've got some preparation for the Danny Graham podcast, which is coming up very soon here on Rovers Chat, amongst other things we've got on the agenda today. So much to talk about in a fair bit of time as well, but we'll get to that, of course, in due time. So as I said just a moment ago, get all your comments in. Would love to see some reaction on this new show. Can't wait to see what it's got in store heading into the future. Got a few people in already, so let's get going. First thing on the agenda, obviously, as I say, the players are back training as of yesterday, I believe, and it'll be good to see, obviously, the players come back in. Obviously, the new training kit hasn't been released yet, which I'm obviously eagerly awaiting, and some of the other Rovers fans, I'm sure, are as well. But one player that I would love to see some pics of or some content of is Harry Pickering. Obviously, the new signing, signed him in January, loaned him back out to Crewe, played a lot there went back, obviously, for the second half of the season to try and propel them up the table, but he's now with Rovers as a permanent Rovers player, and would love to see him get involved. We do have the first comment, and it is from the one and only Joe Harvey. Good luck with the new show. Are you excited for the season? I mean, mate, is the Pope Catholic, is the question I would rebut to that. Of course I'm excited. I'm always excited for the new season. Only 40 days away, of course, in terms of league football. Obviously, we do have the friendlies just before that that I'll go through throughout the show. But obviously, Swansea is the first game of the season. Swansea at home, so I'm absolutely buzzing. I always am. I'm a little bit apprehensive, probably more than most seasons, obviously, with the whole transfer embargo and everything off the field. But on the pitch, I'm hopeful we can do something, but definitely excited. As always, Joe, great to see you in the chat, as always. But as we say, obviously, players back in training. Obviously, we saw the interview with Bradley Dack. We saw some of the moments with from that interview. Obviously, he's a few months away still, but it's glad to see him still at the club, still doing a bit of rehab. He said with the players coming back, it might be a little bit more tough to get some of that rehab in, but I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine. Can't wait to see our number 23. It's actually on the back of the shirt I'm wearing at the moment, but we can't wait to see him back out on the park. It was 4 years, I think, the other day since we signed him, but hopefully there's a few moments left with the number 23 in blue and white. Obviously, the pre-season fixtures, we've got a few away games and we've got one game at Ewood. So far, we've got AFC Fylde away on the 10th of July, Bradford at Valley Parade on the 24th, and we do have that home game against Premier League Leeds United on the 28th, and then Bolton Wanderers recently promoted to League One on the 31st of July. So, obviously, the one we're all interested in, I think, is Leeds. Obviously, Marcelo Bielsa has been having a look at the new Chilean maestro, the Chilean Messi himself, Ben Brereton, which we can't let him go. I need to see him. Obviously, post Copa America in blue and white, because it would be cruel, wouldn't it? After all the hype we've been giving it off season, the wonder walls, the great performances, the goals, the assists, would be absolutely class to see him in blue and white again. Surely he doesn't leave. Joe Harvey back in again, got that exact kit with Gusted on the back somewhere in a wardrobe upstairs. Love that strip. I think everyone will like this year's Macron efforts. I've been waiting so long. I wonder if I can actually bring this up there. This is going to be a little bit makeshift, but I'm going to try something a second, Joe. Just give me a moment. This is going to be slightly awkward, but we're going to try it anyway because I think it's worth it. So a little tour here in Mornington. Here's me. I'm going to try and get this to work. If it doesn't, then it is what it is. But obviously at the moment, last season, he played for Melbourne Victory. Obviously, I'm based in Melbourne. You can see he signed it. So it's a signed Rudy Gestede shirt that I've had up here for months now. He signed. I got one sent over from England. Got him to sign it in Melbourne, and it's there now. So yeah, I'm loving that. Hoping to build up a bit of a Rovers shirt wall up here. Get them all signed. Hopefully, I can build a couple up here. Probably one room for one up there, and one down below. Probably the Gestede shirt, but a little tour, little on the move sort of thing. But Rudy Gestede, he was a top player for us, weren't he? He was a top player. Went to see him a couple of times play for Melbourne Victory, and it was the first professional goal I'd seen in 3.5 years. Was one of his headers against the Wellington Phoenix, which was class. I celebrated that to no end. It was just like old times, but it's a cracking shirt, isn't it? It defied a lot of fans across the fan base, but having Gestede on the back, I absolutely had to do it. And with obviously this season's kits, as I try and catch my breath, I just can't wait to see him come out. Obviously, I'll be getting the home and away one at some point during the season, as I usually do now. I've got the away one from last season with Armour on the back, and obviously I've got Dak on the back of this one. So hopefully there are a couple of more good efforts. This time from Macron, who of course are the new shirt manufacturers this season, taking over from Umbro, who've been doing it for a little while now. But yeah, I was actually happy with Umbro's efforts this season. Obviously, they were probably the two best Umbro kits I think that we'd had come out. Maybe if we exclude the promotion away kit from obviously the promotion season in League One, because that one was an absolute belter. But a few decent ones from Umbro. But let's see what Macron can do in the Blackburn Rovers legacy. So we'll go through those preseason fixtures once again, just to go back to the present. So Fylde, Bradford, Leeds, and Bolton. Obviously, Bolton's a local derby. We haven't played them in a long while, probably since they got relegated from the Championship at the end of that season. I remember that we beat them away with a Bradley Dack goal. Actually, speaking about Bradley Dack before, in that yellow away kit, but they had a penalty shout, a massive shout, that was turned down. Bolton. I think it might well have been given actually, and then they went over to the linesman or the assistant referee, and they overruled it. I remember the Thogden clip from that video when he vlogged it for Bolton was absolutely unbelievable to see the joy on his face just drain away when the penalty got disallowed. Was class. But it'll be good to play Bolton again. Hopefully we can turn them over, even though if it is just a friendly. But obviously the Leeds one, as I say, obviously Bielsa's a top-class manager. We all know that. And let's see if we can take it up to some higher-level opposition. Obviously they've got some top players. Obviously Calvin Phillips we'll touch on a little bit later in the Euro 2020 section with England. Patrick Bamford, I don't know if he'll play. I don't know what side Leeds will bring out. I was speaking to a couple of Leeds fans I know over here, and they'll be saying Bielsa usually goes half and half. So half of the players go and play another friendly, and half will play against us. I think they've got, I can't remember who it is. Potentially Geisley, I may have heard. No, it can't be Geisley. Geisley's probably wrong. I'll have to look who Leeds are playing. It was a conference side somewhere down the line. I can't remember who it was. But they've got that, I think the day before. No, it is Geisley. I was right. So it's Geisley the day before on the 27th, and they play us on the 28th. So we'll have to see what Bielsa does there. Got a comment from Alejandro. Cheers from Mexico. So excited about Macron. Come on, 2:30 a.m. Oh, he's committed. He's committed. What a guy. Come on, Rovers. I share that sentiment with you, Alejandro. Class to have you here in the stream with us. So obviously, he's another one that's excited about Macron. And at 2:30 a.m, mate, fair play for tuning into the stream. Great to have you in the chat. And a question from Daniel here. Any news on when the new kits will be out, or Recoverite will still be our sponsor still? Recoverite are still our sponsor. They signed, I think, a 2-year deal at the time. Obviously, an Australian sort of activewear sort of company. So they've been brilliant. Any news on when the new kits will be out? I'm waiting as anxiously as the rest of the fan base is. So I've not got a clue. Obviously, Joe Harvey's, of course, he's always in the know. He always knows what's going on, does Joe? But obviously, I don't. So I don't have a clue of when the new kits will be out. But hopefully, very, very soon. So a bit of a follow-up on that comment then. Recoverite on the kits until 2021-22 at least. Macron is a 5-year deal. New kits out after June. So what we're saying, early July then? That's not too far. Obviously, my bank balance will be slightly taking a hit, but I'm not sure on mine. I'm absolutely rocking blue and white. Obviously, I think I look, half decent in blue and white. I think it suits everyone. Blue and white suits everyone, doesn't it? And some appreciation for Joe Harvey, which is absolutely worthy of. In the chat from Daniel. So it's nice to see that someone in the know has let the rest of our fan base know about these sorts of things. But away from Rovers ever so slightly onto the international football scene. Obviously, Ben Brereton's been the talk of the town in his 4 appearances for La Roja in the Copa America. Obviously, 1 goal, 1 assist, currently 4th in their group, Chile. It's a bit of an interesting tournament, though, the Copa America, I find, because obviously 10 teams have qualified for this one, and only 2 get eliminated. So Chile are through to the quarterfinals, even though they've had a loss and they're 4th in their group out of 5. But it doesn't matter because Ben Brereton is an absolute legend. He's been class, hasn't he? Even all the content off the pitch, it's been brilliant to see. Obviously, when you look at all the players that England have lost, you don't like to lose players as an England fan. With the greatest respect to Ben Brereton for all the work he's done for Chile and all the content he's provided for us in the best way possible, I'm glad we've lost Ben Brereton because he has been brilliant to see for Chile. Even on and off the pitch, as I say, he's a brilliant player, Ben Brereton. And as I say, hopefully he can stay in the blue and white halves for many years to come. I mean, quality for Chile, goal and an assist in back-to-back games. Obviously got the goal against Bolivia and then got the assist, I think, against Uruguay in the game following, which was quality. So that's obviously great to see from a Chile point of view. And for England, obviously Germany tomorrow, which I'll be watching. It's a 2 o'clock kickoff over here in Melbourne, 2 a.m. We've got a few of my mates around to watch that. So I'm sure that, Mornington won't get to sleep, I don't think, because we'll be absolutely loud as ever. We actually have got a Leeds fan in that contingent, so I might have to get a bit of an insight for that friendly. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Hopefully England can go through. Obviously, with the result, that went yesterday with the Czech Republic beating the Netherlands makes England's draw and their road to the final slightly easier. But obviously, we've got to do the job ourselves, no matter about the other teams around us. Daniel, again, back in the comments. Knowing us, it'll be first game of the season. We always seem to be the last ones to release it. Brereton Diaz on the back, 100%. Well, the only problem I see with that, Daniel, because I was thinking the same thing about getting Brereton on the back, but obviously Brereton Diaz has only been a thing for Chile. So we'll have to see first whether he goes Brereton or Brereton Diaz on the back, or whether he goes to the number 22 or stays with number 20, because obviously he's been wearing 22 with Chile. That is now vacant because Taylor Harwood-Bellis is off to Anderlecht. Obviously, before that, Lewis Holtby moved from 22 to 10. So the 22 is currently vacant at Rovers, so he might even change number. So I'd hold fire on that Brereton one, just so we know exactly what name and number he's got on the back, and then 100% you get Brereton Diaz on the back. You sort of have to. I think you have to. Whatever he goes with, you've got to do it, because he's been a cult hero for Rovers this summer. It's been brilliant to see his progression. But with England, I'll give a little prediction. I think we'll win. I think we'll make it to the final off the back of that too. Obviously, I know I'm not as long suffering as some of the fans potentially in the chat. I've not suffered for as long. And obviously the optimism isn't quite as high with the more experienced England fans, so to say. But I'm confident about beating Germany. I think, on quality, I think we can. Obviously, it is Germany, so it's a massive game, of course, as always when we play against them. But I think we can do it. I think we can do it. I think we've got the quality to do it. I think we've got the team to do it. And obviously the fans behind us as well. So I think we'll beat Germany, and then hopefully we can make her onto a final, and then anything can happen from there. Obviously, that's the Euros done. Obviously, there's not much international football going on with Rovers. No other players really in either of the international tournaments going on really, affecting Rovers too much. But we'll have to sort of see how that transpires going into the future. Obviously, the players we've got for Rovers at the minute, I think it's Louis Annesley is the main one who plays international football with Gibraltar, who's currently playing. I don't think there's too many others that are currently playing their trade, in international tournaments or international games. But nonetheless, it's good to see Brereton getting out there for Chile. Obviously, we have talked about, or it's been recently raised, a Danny Graham podcast. Now, how good is that going to be? Obviously, I think it's a 5 a.m. start for me, so I might have to show some commitment like Alejandro and just wake up to watch that, because DG is a modern-day club legend, no doubt about it. I've been asked to nominate my favourite Danny Graham goal in preparation for that podcast. It's too hard to name one, so I'm going to pick my favourite 3 moments in no particular order. relating to Danny Graham. We're going to start with the Man United FA Cup game, and my days, what a goal that was. Marvin Emnes threading that one through inside the box. Danny Graham, clinical as ever, getting some applause from Jose Mourinho to put us 1-0 up in that game. Now, obviously, the result didn't work out as we liked, but, it was class to see. All the fans going mental. Ewood was in raptures. I wish I would have been there because I remember back in the Premier League days, Ewood was always rocking. And then whenever I went, after our relegation, it seemed to quiet down a little bit. We didn't have as many fans there, but it was like back to old times, seeing all the Rovers fans bouncing after that goal. I'll go through my next 2 moments and then we'll go back into the chat for some more comments because there are a couple through. Sheffield Wednesday's hat-trick at Ewood. Again, 3 goals. It was absolutely amazing. A great win for Rovers that day. Absolutely quality to see him score 3 there. And an underrated shout, but I think one that definitely, once I mention it, a lot will agree with. The goal against Derby away in that red kit in our relegation season. 25 passes. We look like prime Barcelona. Absolutely quality. Again in the box. Danny Graham finishes. Class away day at Pride Park. Get the win. And I think they're my 3 favourite Danny Graham moments. So make sure that when that podcast goes live, you are here watching it. It'll be absolutely brilliant. Obviously, like I say, he's a club legend, a cult hero, and can't wait to see what he's got to say about our wonderful club. Going back into the comments then, Joe Harvey, quite a lot of the young lads back in training this morning. I wonder if any of your luscious tones are serenading any of them into Brock Hall. I wonder, mate. Obviously, we had the likes of Jared Harlock on the podcast before, and Dan Pike has been on the channel, so maybe they're listening in. Potentially hope more than expectation from my point of view, but I'm sure the work that we do on this channel, I think more Rovers players need to be tuning in because it's absolutely quality to see them interacting with the channel and them loving it all. So if we could get more Rovers players, maybe even first team on the scene as well, watching the great content we put out, I think we more than deserve that, especially Ryan. Obviously, I've not really done much. I'm just new to the scene here, but the likes of Ryan and Luke Kimberley and yourself, Joe, and Tom Schofield and Ollie Hayworth and all that lot, they deserve all the plaudits they can get because, honestly, it's been class to see all the content that they've pumped out, not only last season, but in the pre-season as well. So we need to get some more Rovers players onto the channel because that would be class. Alejandro has come in with his prediction for the England game. He says 2-0 to England. I would 100% take that. I'd snap your hand off to take that result. Any news about transfers, he also asks. Yeah, we had a couple of outgoings. I was planning to get onto that a little bit later, but we will move on to that now. Obviously, we've had players come out, most notably probably Joe Grayson and Tom White have both gone to Barrow. Obviously, players that didn't really see much first-team action at Rovers, but they're really probably the 2 of the main 3 that have left. The other one, of course, being Amari Bell, who at the expiry of his contract has gone to Luton Town, going to Kenilworth Road, which I think is a good signing for Luton. We probably didn't see the best of Amari Bell in blue and white, but when he played well, he was decent for us from left back. Obviously divided the fan base, but I think he'll do really well at Luton, and I wish him well because if he can get on the park and show his best that we saw probably at Fleetwood before his move, he will be quality for Luton, and I think they're motoring on. They're looking like a team in business and pushing up towards the top end of the table because they've made some good signings. They've made a lot of signings. Obviously, Carlos Mendes Gomez from Morecambe, obviously one that Rovers will link with, but obviously couldn't get over the line due to our embargo. And that's the interesting one. On incomings, it's really tough, isn't it? Because we can't make actually any signings at the moment on a cash basis. Obviously, we've been linked with Jerry Yates, who Blackpool obviously wouldn't loan out to us. We'd have to sign him on a permanent. But also Leighton Clarkson, we've been linked with from Liverpool on a loan. We've seen a couple of the Manchester City loanees. There was a good article put out, I believe it was by potentially Rich Sharp, but don't quote me on that one, between the blossoming relationship between Blackburn and Manchester City, obviously with Tosin Adarabioyo and Taylor Harwood-Bellis and the Manchester City loanees we might be going in for. Joe Harvey, I hadn't actually seen this rumour, but Keane Bryan from Sheffield United apparently been linked, scored against Manchester United in the Premier League earlier on in the season. Quickly throw that out there before I bid you goodbye and set up to the office. Well, Joe, it's been class to have you on the stream. Thanks for streaming. Keep pushing content. Hey, as long as I'm welcome, I'm happy, more than happy to jump on this podcast or jump on any podcast that anyone needs. But thanks for the well wishes and good luck for the rest of your day. Obviously, back in England, it's currently what now? It's 10 to 9, I believe, a.m. Obviously, I'm chilling here at 10 to 6 p.m. in Australia. So different time zones, but hopefully you can maybe even if you fancy listening back to the end of the stream after work, would be class. But in any case, thanks for joining us, Joe. We've got a few more potentially watching, so if you've got any more comments or anything you'd like me to discuss, please do so. Obviously, Brad Lyons was also one I forgot to discuss. A massive shame, I believe, that we didn't see more of him in blue and white. Let me just sort my charger out because somehow that's become dislodged. But Brad Lyons has gone to Kilmarnock. I really would have liked to see him in Rovers colours. Obviously got on the bench in our matchday squad for the game against Rotherham United back, I think it was in December, when Armstrong notched that late winner in the 98th minute after the Rotherham were time wasting, which was a bit of karma. But got on the bench that day, never made an appearance for Rovers, which I think is a massive shame. I think he'll do well in Scotland for Kilmarnock. I'll have to see how he gets on because I think he will be quality. Potential other outgoings, potentially Tyler McGlaw out on loan. Again, another player I would have liked to see a lot more of at Rovers, but it looks like his time at the club is ticking down. Potentially other loanees might be Joe Hilton. Obviously went out on a lot of loans, didn't he? He went to Ross County and Fleetwood, I think maybe among others as well. Obviously made his senior debut for Fleetwood against Hull. I think it was in the EFL Trophy. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, Rovers fans. But yeah, I think it was in the EFL Trophy against Hull. But he's another one, potentially a future starter for Blackburn in between the sticks. Obviously, we've got the likes of Thomas Kaminski and Ainsley Pears ahead of him, Jordan Easton, Antonis Steriakis as well. So we've got a lot of goalkeepers, and even Felix Goddard, who's a youngster who signed from Manchester City in the last pre-season. So a lot of goalkeepers. The goalkeeping ranks at Rovers probably as strong as they've been in a long while. But Joe Hilton might be another one that we send out on loan. In terms of last season's loanees, you look at the likes of Luke Brennan. That one didn't quite work out. McGlaw obviously went to Motherwell and did okay there. Brad Lyons went out to Morecambe, but obviously we know he's gone. So we'll have to see what happens in terms of loanees this season. Hayden Carter did really well at Burton Albion, so he might be another one that might be back into the fray for Rovers this season. I think that's where the pre-season friendlies will really, really help to get these players blooded in. Potentially some of the under-23s players, maybe the likes of Sam Barnes potentially could come in, Isaac Whitehall potentially, or Lenny Chirino obviously signed his first professional contract with the club. Dan Pike, obviously, big things expected of him. Conor McBride is another one that could potentially get a few first-team minutes in pre-season. So I'll be watching those with keen interest because obviously it was how Tyrese Dolan was discovered after signed him from Preston, threw him in at Highbury against Fleetwood, and then he never looked back, did he? Did Tyrese? But maybe there's another hidden gem about to be discovered in pre-season. In terms of other topics to discuss, obviously season tickets, bit of a back to life, back to reality, as the club have called it. Please never let me sing on a Rovers Chat stream again because I don't want to kill any of your eardrums. But bit of Rovers Chat karaoke, maybe we need to get that going on during the season. But no, season tickets are back. Will be great to see fans in Ewood. Obviously, I haven't gone to a Rovers game since November 2013. I actually got the ticket up there. Let me bring that out. Couple of props for today that I didn't expect that I'd need, but we'll throw this one out here. It's just at the top. This was the last Rovers game I ever went to. Obviously, for obvious reasons, I haven't been able to go back. I would love to go back as soon as I can, really. Being in Australia, that one's tough, but I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Last Rovers game I ever went to was in November 2013. End of November against Leeds United. It was a 1-0 win. Tommy Spur got the only goal that day. Jack Walker stand, row 6, seat 44. How much I would love to go back. Outside shout, St Mary's RC School, Roman Catholic, where I went to school, was there with them. Former school of Alex Lomax. So I actually knew Alex before Rovers Chat because I used to go to school with him. So that was an interesting one. I knew I recognised the name from somewhere. And obviously it's been great to reconnect with Alex through this platform, but obviously it'd be nice to see Rovers fans back in the stadium. Those cardboard cutouts really haven't cut it, if we're being honest. It's been a rather dull Ewood watching games. It's not quite been the same, so it'd be nice to see Rovers fans get back in the ground. Just a quick word on that, though. Obviously, the results haven't been as we'd like towards the end of last season. From probably January onwards, didn't quite get the results that we needed. So I'm really hoping that the fans don't turn on the players and the manager and the staff and whatnot. as we have done in the past. Obviously, fans have got a right to voice their opinions, but we've obviously had, in comparison to what we have had during the relegation seasons and whatnot, a rather positive mood in comparison. I don't know if you'll agree with me there, but that's what I certainly think. I think it's been more positive since the relegation season, and I hope that just keeps going. The results will obviously help that, of course. If we start spiraling out of control and towards the relegation zone, obviously there will be a lot of fans probably calling for the manager to be removed or calling for some changes. I don't know. Hopefully it all goes well. That's all I'm hoping with fans back in the stadium, because obviously, as we know as Rovers fans, it hasn't all been smooth sailing. So hopefully that changes throughout the rest of the season. Obviously, it looks like fans will be getting back into league action against Swansea. Joe's just left the stream, but I assume that they're trying to get fans in for the Leeds friendly. It's the only one scheduled at Ewood for this pre-season, so I'm assuming that fans will be back in the stadiums for that, although don't shoot the messenger because I don't have a clue what's going on. In terms of that, I'm not really in the know as much as I'd like to be anyway at Rovers, but I'm assuming that they'll be getting fans in the stadium at some point, probably through pre-season. Hopefully we can get fans on the away day as well at the University of Bolton Stadium, the stadium that changes names like the weather at the moment, wasn't it? The Reebok, then the Macron. They've had many names as that Bolton Stadium. But, hopefully we get some fans up there against Bolton and away at Fylde and Bradford and the like, just to see if we can get some fans there, because away days really are the backbone of English football. Alejandro, it's been brilliant in the comments today. Still thinking a centre-half is basics to improve this season and a midfielder to take Holtby's place. Yeah, obviously for centre-halves, I would like to see Hayden Carter have a run. We've still got Scott Watermine, who's in the long-term injury ward. We lost Eric Williams to the LA Galaxy, so it'll probably be Lenihan, potentially Carter. We might need another centre-half. Is Carter ready yet? Obviously, the staff at Rovers will know more than we do. I think Carter has looked decent, did look decent earlier on in the season when we played him. But Scott Water, I think, is the main one. I think it's his spot to lose once he comes back from injury. Obviously, we still have the likes of Daniel Ayala, who we know has done a lot at championship level previously, who could come in alongside Dara. I think Dara's the mainstay. I don't think you can drop Dara. He'll be a future Rovers captain, and that's something that I suppose we've also got to discuss with the departure of Elliot Bennett. And by the way, if you haven't had a look at his podcast, go and do so. Obviously left for Shrewsbury Town a little while ago now, so if you haven't seen that podcast, go and have a look at it, because it was quality. But with Bennett gone, obviously we need a new captain. I think Darrell Lenihan, maybe Lewis Travis will be at the front of those discussions, but we'll have to sort of see where that is. I haven't seen many links. I saw a link to someone playing in Germany. I can't remember his name, who we were linked with, who can play left back and centre back. So maybe we could go have a look with that. Haven't gone ever yet, mate. Don't worry. Well, maybe we need to get us there, Alejandro, because obviously it's a brilliant ground to go to if you get the chance. It's quality, obviously, since the refurbishments, or before my time anyway. Yeah, but it's a good ground to go to. Hopefully you get the chance sooner rather than later, because it is definitely quality, and it's good to follow Rovers inside the ground. It's something that I've missed. Probably the thing I miss most in life is going down to Ewood. Chicken Balti pie at half-time. It's about as good as it gets. It's quality. Hot chocolate, mate, you can't beat it. I'm just reminiscing, thinking about it. I was 9 when I last went. Now 17, so it's been a long while. It's been 7 years, over 7 years since I last went to Ewood. But that streak doesn't go on for too much longer. Chris Hayes, for me, John Buckley replaces Lewis Holtby. Completely fair shout. I think John Buckley, he's a quality player. On his day, at the moment, probably one of our best young players, I'd say, at the club at the moment. Pops up with a few goals here and there. Obviously, you think Charlton and Sheffield Wednesday at the last season we had with fans, so the season before the one just gone. I think Buckley, you've got to give him time. Obviously, hasn't had the chance with the likes of Holtby coming in. Hasn't had as much chance as he would like to potentially show what he's got. But I think John Buckley is a crucial player going forward for Blackburn as a club, and maybe we can potentially get a loanee in. Obviously, I've been friends with Leighton for a while, so I'm going to keep trying to push that one, because I would love to see Leighton in blue and white. Leighton Clarkson at Liverpool, who's played a little bit for Liverpool senior side, not too much, but it'd be nice to see him come in, or maybe could have a look at someone from League One potentially. Who knows? We need to get rid of this embargo first, really, if we're being honest. But as soon as that happens, we have more of a license to go forward rather than forcing ourselves to look back. But yeah, that's the one, really. I think Buckley is probably the main candidate, I'd say, to replace Lewis Holtby. Obviously, he's a creative player. Is Lewis Holtby probably not had his best time at Blackburn? He admitted that himself. But I think Buckley would be the main man because he sort of can go forward. He has a license to sort of create, breaks lines, and can be a playmaker if needed. So hopefully he's the one that can sort of step up a little bit. Any other options do we think Rovers fans fall that spot? Obviously, Bradley Dack, obviously when he comes back, will probably play as more of a 10. We'll play as a 10 rather. We'll have to see if he can provide some creative output that we know he can. Obviously, 2 ACLs will be tough to see him. It'll be tough for him to come back, but I'm sure he will come back in flying colours, as he did the first time before his cruel second injury in that game at the end of the season on Sky against Brentford, which was obviously a horrible one that we hated to see as Rovers fans. But Rovers fans in the comments, do you agree with Chris's shout? I certainly do. I like John Buckley as a player, and I think he should come in for Lewis Holtby. But Rovers fans, is there any other player instead of Buckley that you might want to throw forward? Because it is definitely a position that we need to look at with the departure of not only Holtby, but in sentiment in general, with the likes of Stuart Downing. Obviously, he's more defensive as Holtby, but he's another player that's gone. Corey Evans, again, another defensive player, has gone as well. So it's a position definitely that we need to strengthen, but it's just who with is the real question. It's tough with a financial state. Maybe that's why people are saying that Armstrong has to go. Obviously, we know that the financial gain that would give us with the money, obviously it would help us with the embargo, probably get us out of the embargo, to be fair. I don't even know, we don't even know if we're in the embargo. Obviously the books have been submitted, but there's been no real word as to say whether we're out of the embargo or not yet. So that's the real crucial one. But John Buckley, if we're looking at players still at the club, might be the one to replace the German. But yeah, anything else that we could sort of discuss? The Carabao Cup draw, which happened just after we left the stream. Obviously, I did stay up, as I said I would. I went to bed at like 1 a.m. that night, but I really wanted to see who we got. As soon as the North draw concluded, I was straight to bed. But Morecambe at Ewood Park, another game at Ewood. Morecambe, it's been a while since we played them. I can't even dread to think of the last time we played them. It might be a bit of research that I've got to do. But obviously Morecambe, another Northwest side, obviously a smaller club, probably one of the smallest clubs that we've come up against in a while. The last meeting we played against them in any competition, well, it wasn't a competition, it was a friendly, was the 22nd, or it might have been 21st because it's Australian time on here. But it was in July 2017, and it was a 2-1 Rovers win away. So in terms of any sort of competition, though, I don't know when the last time we played them was. It's been that far back that I'm not really sure. In fact, have we ever played them? I'm trying to go on 11v11, and that usually has everyone's record against any club, and nothing's coming up for Rovers and Morecambe. The Bristol Rovers is the top search. We have to have played Morecambe, surely. We have to have played Morecambe at some point, right? Probably like a random FA Cup game, you'd think. Will this be off the first meeting against Morecambe? Someone in the chat, if it is, let me know, because I can't believe that we haven't ever played Morecambe before. But that is our draw in the League Cup. I don't think we've ever played Morecambe before, which is crazy to even think about. But first meeting against the Northwest side, now currently in League One, after their playoff final win over Newport. So hopefully we can start our season off strong with a win there. What date is that game against the Shrimps? I'll go back and have a look. I need to make sure I get this one right. So it is the 10th of August. So that's when I'll be before I was just after one at the start of our league season. I doubt we'll have played Morecambe competitively. I don't think we have. I think this will be our first ever competitive meeting. I assumed we would have played them in, the FA Cup maybe back in the 50s or something, but not even that. It's a really obscure one. So it looks like Wickham last season, it might be the first time we've ever played Morecambe in a competitive sense. We've played them, as I say, we've played them in the in a friendly away, but obviously it might be the first competitive meeting we get. We start the season on the 7th of August against Swansea, as we know. So it's our second game of the season in all competitions. And obviously the second one back at Ewood, the first cup game back at Ewood with fans. So we'll have to see how that one goes. I think we should win there, if we're being honest. We should expect to win there. And if we're not winning against Morecambe, it's a real issue. Obviously, we played Oldham in the same competition a couple of seasons ago now. Obviously, we left that one late. We were 2-1 down heading into the 90th minute and got 2 goals late to win that one 3-2. Hopefully, we don't have to leave it as late as that. But, a win's a win, I guess, in any case. We'll have to see. So, Morecambe, first time we played them competitively. And hopefully we can get a Morecambe fan on the other side potentially when we do those. If we are still doing those, I assume we are. I hope we are, because they're great content. But maybe get a Morecambe fan to talk about that. But that's the one thing I've learned today, that we haven't played Morecambe competitively. There you go. They say you learn something new every day, and that's something that I definitely have learned. But we've got to win there, I suppose. So that's sort of the fixtures done, obviously, with Swansea at Ewood and then Morecambe at Ewood. And then in terms of home games, we've got West Brom after that. So, it's a baptism of fire to start the season, with the first 2 home games being Swansea and West Brom. But I suppose that's the way the cookie crumbles, of course. Any final comments before we head off? I don't think we've got too much more to discuss, unless there's something that someone else wants to have a little bit of a chat about. And we will wrap this stream up probably soon, because I think we've gone through pretty much everything there is to go through about Rovers at the minute, with incomings and outgoings and the like. I think we've covered everything rather comprehensively. So if there's nothing that anyone wants to say in the chat, I hope Alejandro is still here, because he's been quality to see. 2:30 he wakes up. That's absolute commitment to Rovers Chat. We need a Rovers Chat Hall of Fame, I think. And if we did have one, he'd be right up there. Maybe that's something we inaugurate for this season, because I think Alejandro deserves a spot there for his commitment here. 2 a.m. absolutely quality from the lad down in Mexico. So it's been great to see all of you lot tune in. I don't think there's any more comments, so we may well wrap this one up here. The first episode of Breakfast with Rovers Chat in the books. Remember, we'll be doing these weekly, Monday, 5:30 p.m. It's been just over half an hour today on the stream, but at 8:30 UK time on Monday, rather, that's 5:30 Melbourne time, that I'll be broadcasting. But it's been an absolute pleasure to join you all here on Rovers Chat. I can't wait to see you soon for another Rovers Chat live broadcast. Bye for now.